Hey, what's up everybody? Jesse with Southern Reels Fishing down on the beautiful Outer Banks of North Carolina. As you can see, it's awesome out here this morning. Been down here for a week, and I'm gonna be honest with you, the surf bite has been dismal. There is really not much going on out here. This is a quick video I wanted to put together to help people that are coming down here on vacation that really just want to come out here and get their kids and their family on some fish. And I'm not talking anything big, it's just to get them to catch something. Especially when the bite is tough like it is this week. So I'm going to show you a quick setup that I got that works and show you what to do to hopefully help you out, have a little bit of fun with your family and your kids. So let's jump into it. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get into this real quick. Basically, the first thing is I come down here and I see people that have really severely oversized the tackle requirements. This here is just a small light tackle setup. A 2500 reel. I got 15-pound braid on here. The setup that I'm using on here is just a Carolina rig. Got a 3/4 ounce weight. It slides back and forth, and a number 4 circle hook. Not a 4.0, but a number 4. As you can see, it's very small. And believe it or not, this here will catch a lot of fish out here. Now, right now, I'm pretty much catching sea mullet and spot. And like I said in this video, we're not going for anything monstrous. But if there was a big drum or something that swam by, you can catch them on this setup as well. And actually, right here at this moment, I will put up a picture over here of a drum that I caught with this exact setup years ago, surf fishing, the way I am this morning. So it works. For those of you that aren't familiar with fishing that much, the Carolina rig is basically, your line is tied to a little swivel. You have a section here that this weight can move back and forth on. A couple little beads here just to keep the weight basically from damaging the fishing line when it hits it. Then you got a section of free line here basically that's out there in the surf. So when you throw this out, this weight is sitting on the ground, but this bait here is just going back and forth with that current, floating all around, looking all natural, and that's why it works so well. I like the circle hooks because when you're fishing for these sea mullet and spot and stuff like that, these always hook the fish in the corner of the mouth. That's what's great about them. And you don't have to have like a ninja-like hook set reflex, which is great for kids. Pretty much all you got to do is start reeling and it'll hook the fish. Just like the fish hook themselves with these hooks. They work really well. Here, another thing I like about this setup is that it's great if you're having issues with grass in the surf, which is a problem a lot of times because most of the grass will get hung up around this weight here and stop, and still allows this bait to kind of be out there doing its job without a bunch of grass wadded up on it. So this is actually the best rig that I found when the conditions are very grassy. And pretty much as far as bait, when the bite's tough, bloodworms. To work with these guys, you don't have to use the entire worm is the best part. You basically just pull out a worm, find them in here. Yeah, that one's alive. And pretty much just cut them and use them in sections. You don't need much. Like this worm here will bait a hook probably 4 or 5 times. Grab the bloodworm. I just like feeding them on the hook. That's pretty much it. And when you cast this out, the biggest thing is people try to send it way the hell out there to catch these fish here. You want to be in the trough that's pretty much right there where the braids are breaking. So I pretty much just throw it just past the breakers. Literally right past where they're breaking is all you need, and just let it sit. Now you can cast it farther if you want and just slowly reel it back to you. But most of the time when I catch these sea mullet and stuff, they're literally like right there where the waves are breaking or just behind them. Now when I'm fishing like this, I usually just throw it out and just very slowly work it back to you, just keeping it moving just a little bit, let it sit. And let that egg sinker sitting out there, and that other bait on that rig is just kind of going back and forth with the current. If there's any little fish out there running around, they're going to see it. There we go. A little fish on here. So like I said, folks, we're not breaking any records. But for a kid, this is all you need. Nice little sea mullet. Like I said, the circle hooks are nice because they always get them right in the corner of the mouth. The regular J hooks, you end up like hooking these dudes down in the throat, which is a pain to deal with. These pop right out. All right, buddy. There you go. They'll swim right on back out. It's funny. There we go. Little spot that time. Something else that you can use for bait are sand fleas. You know, the ones that you dig up out of the surf, they work really well, especially for sea mullet. I mean, you can pretty much just dig them right out of the surf. These little guys here, I don't get the bigger ones. The smaller ones seem to work better. Basically just hook them like that on the hook. Sea mullet love them things. There we go. See, right there in the wash. It's crazy how shallow you get these guys. I was literally in like 4 inches of water right then. Sorry, buddy. Let him go. Alright, here we go. Little spot. Look at that. Thank you, buddy. There we go. They're a little bit deeper today since the water's colder. They just hooked them right through the bottom like that. You can just dig them right out of the surf. Those sand, they're so plentiful out here. Some days they work better than the bloodworms. It really depends. So you really don't even have to buy a bait, nothing else. You just come out here and dig up sand fleas. That'll work as well. Here we go. Like the sand flea. This is about the size that I've been catching most of this week here. I did get one of probably about 14 inches the other day. Well, folks, there you go. That's pretty much it. You know, the takeaways from this video are to keep your tackle light. Don't go out and buy these giant surf poles. You don't need it. Try bloodworms for bait. Try digging up, you know, sand fleas right out of the surf. Sea mullet love them things. It's free bait. It's hard to beat it, really. Just use the smaller ones. Don't use the big giant sand fleas. I always have better luck with the small ones. You know, don't try to cast it all the way to the moon out there. You know, get it just past the breakers. That's all you need to do. And just slowly work it back to you. Now, we're not catching any monsters. This type of fishing is basically when nothing else is biting. Now, when the bite is good out here in the surf, if you do this, it's non-stop action. It really is all the fish you want to catch, and it really is fun. And the great thing about using that Carolina rig style setup is it scales beautifully. So all you got to do is go with bigger hooks, bigger weights, bigger baits, and you can throw it out there and get on, you know, big drum, sharks, anything with the exact same setup. You just got to go a little bit heavier with it. Bigger hooks, bigger bait, you know, heavier line, bigger pole, of course. So it scales beautifully. It does work awesome when there's a lot of seaweed in the surf. It's probably the best solution as opposed to going with like bottom rigs and stuff like that. So I remember a couple years coming out here fishing. There were guys on either side of us set up with these giant, you know, surf poles staked out in surf, and they weren't really catching anything. I come out here and I had my daughter's little spin cast Barbie pole, put this type of rig on it, and was just throwing right out here in the surf and was catching sea mullet after sea mullet. And there were some good sized ones. I'm talking 12, 14 inch sea mullet. You can give it to my wife, you know, and she's out here catching them in the wash. So it was good fun. But anyway, that's pretty much it. If you have any questions, hit me up in the comments. I'm gonna go up here and get some coffee. So peace out. See you in the next video.